Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Last week, my family was in Arizona, and we traveled to Navajo Nation, where the Navajo tribe lives, and we became very fascinated with Navajo culture. My son Adir even had a dream about medicine men after hearing so much about it from all of our different tours. And unlike a few years ago, my wife and I traveled to Phoenix, and we went to a museum, and there was a performance by a Navajo singer. And at the end, I went up to him to congratulate him, and him seeing my kippah, he said to me, "Good Yantiv," because it was Hanukkah. This was different. Here they did not know much about us, but we tried to learn more about them. And they taught us how all of their homes always face east towards their sun, the rising sun. And when you were to enter a Navajo home, you have to enter and then go around clockwise. And every 4 times a day, they throw corn up in the air as a sign of being blessed of 4 directions. And everything they do, we came to learn, is about coming back into harmony with the world around you, finding harmony, finding blessing, harmony with the land, harmony with spirit, harmony with other people, and then bringing blessing to yourself and to your families. So at one point, one of my children asked the guide as we were traveling through the desert, "Are there rattlesnakes in the desert? And aren't they hibernating still because it's winter?" And our guide said, No. The rattlesnakes are out. And we said, "Well, how do you know the rattlesnakes are out?" And she said, "Because the ground has already shaken." And we didn't know exactly what she meant, but we thought it was some kind of Navajo wisdom about it. And she went on to explain how her own grandfather had been a medicine man, and it was so complicated to do the different ceremonies. Some of them were days long and required thousands of hours of memorization. There was the equivalent of learning a PhD. But that if done properly, their belief was that everything would come into harmony, the spirit, land, and the people themselves who were participating. And so our Parsha this week, and this whole book that we are reading, Vayikra, is all about the sacrifices. And the sacrifices of ancient time, it was the same thing. They were about creating harmony. They were about bringing blessing and restoring balance in the lives of the Israelites. And so they were commanded to bring peace offerings and burnt offerings and wave offerings. And each one of them had their own complexities to learn. And as the wisdom repeats, what was the purpose of it? The sacrifices created a reach nichoach ladonai, a pleasant fragrance to God, to Spirit. And reading the portion, you see how complicated it all is. A little bit like these rituals we heard about. So many elements had to come together. The precise animal that was sacrificed, what to do with the fats, what to do with the blood, which part on the altar, which part is burned separately, which part is eaten, which part is not eaten, who could eat it. And it all had to be done with great precision and with devotion from the priests who were called to live a certain way as they were doing it. And the scholars believe that our book, with all of its details, is not even the guide for the priest. This was only for lay people, for your average Jewish person to learn about the sacrifices. What the guide was like for the priests, we can only imagine, a much more elaborate system. But for them too, it was a system to create balance, to create harmony, to create blessing. And the people would travel from very far away to bring their offering from the 4 corners of the ancient land of Israel. And they believed that they would come back and restore their relationship with God, with their tradition, and with themselves. And so 2,000 years ago, our prayers replaced those sacrifices. What we're doing tonight is the same thing as those sacrifices. Our services, evening service, Shabbat service, Kabbalat Shabbat service, morning service, Yom Kippur. And sometimes we forget and we lose sight that this too is what our prayers are about, what our services are about. They're about restoring us to harmony with ourselves, with our tradition, with our God, with spirit. And they're not only for intellectual, theological reasons, or even to help us find the words that we're not able to find ourselves. But our prayers, this very service we did tonight, it's about us trying to find harmony, restoring the harmony and blessing from doing it. And all the details, the standing and the bowing and the stepping backwards and the sitting back down again and the sound of our singing and our chanting and when we dance, all of that is to create a vessel for blessing in our lives and to bring spirit into our lives. And that is a mysterious process. It's a mysterious process that was created over thousands of years of development and experimentation. And those are our tools in our days for creating that reach nichoach, that pleasant fragrance to the universe. So that then we bring our gift of our prayers, and then we in return also hope to receive a gift of blessing in our lives, of health, of love, of goodness, of peace. Shabbat Shalom.